Hello, everyone. It's Not Just Cricket podcast bonus episode for you. We're going to bring you the first 3 days of this first Ashes series. As soon as they're done, we're going to get up here and give you a bit of instant reaction. And hello to everyone who is watching or listening live on the Cricket Smash YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed as well and you're listening on It's Not Just Cricket, make sure you do. The Cricket Smash YouTube channel will be live as well for the next couple of days. Matt, Kabir, Floyd here alongside Azeem, Rafiq. And let's get straight into it, mate. What an unbelievable first day of Ashes cricket. 19 wickets in the day, the most that's ever fallen in Perth in a test match on day one. I personally cannot remember a better first day of Ashes cricket in Australia. Can you?
No, all the hype, all the build-up, all the chat, and my word, did it live up to it. It was, great timing for me. 6:30 in the morning it started, and I've been glued to the television throughout, really. It was just phenomenal. Every point that you thought, okay, the game might just take a breather. It might just go into some sort of normality. Something happened, and it was just breathtaking viewing. It was just unbelievable to witness it, to be honest.
It was a bit more inconvenient for me because I'm in London. I had to get up at bloody 1:30 in the morning. So if you're watching on YouTube and I'm wearing a dodgy beanie, I apologize for that, but it's freezing in my flight. I've basically been lying under my big cover all night. I'm absolutely knackered, but it was definitely worth it, particularly because there's nothing quite like it, I think, when the ball dominates the bat. And what really stood out for me with this is it feels like we outdid the Aussie bowlers at their own game there. Admittedly, there was a bit of sideways movement. There was a little bit of swing, but we just hit them with a barrage of pace. It was relentless. And it feels like, even though, we did bowl really well, we bowled really good areas. We'll get onto that in a minute. It feels like we just blasted them out with pace, which is exactly what's been happening to us for decades out there.
Well, actually, I was, As the third session started, I was thinking of a hot take for the day, and at that point, I was very clear that Australia didn't actually bowl that well, and England have completely outbowled them. At that point, I didn't realize or didn't think that England would have them where they are, because England was hitting them so hard, so relentlessly. Jofra started it off. Gus Atkinson was brilliant, but then Mark Wood came in, and then Bryden Cars was relentless. It was so good to watch. But like you say, I actually think England, even at that point, I was like, England are out-bowling Australia here. Australia, I don't feel actually bowled that well. But England were absolutely outstanding, to have them 9 down, still 50 runs behind. Who would have thought that when England got bowled out? So I fully agree with you. And you know what? It's actually, I'm normally one of them people that you always have a spinner in the side. I don't think there's any point England having a spinner. I was 1 for 5 seamers this game anyway, but I'm not sure there's a point of England having a spinner until we get to Sydney, because genuinely, the way these guys are bowled there, I just think they've got so much. And then, you've got Tonga who can come in, you can rotate it like that. And then Ben Stokes to come in as the captain of the team to get a 5 for there. It was incredible viewing.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. Just play your best bowlers, right? Simple, isn't it? Your best 5 bowlers are the 5 guys that we just put out. Shoaib Bashir, I don't think is one of your best bowlers. So I agree with you. I agree. But I also agree, I would always want to have a spinner there. I feel a bit uneasy. But when you saw how little Nathan Lyon got out of his couple of overs, you thought, okay, actually, we've made absolutely the right decision here. And I'm glad you mentioned Atkinson there as well, and Archer at the beginning, because we'll come on to Stokes. He obviously will get all the headlines. But I just thought the way we started that opening few overs and then going into that spell against Smith and Labuschagne when they were going nowhere and Smith was wearing loads on the body, I just thought that Archer and Atkinson set the tone beautifully. And from that, we were always on the front foot. Even though we only got 1 wicket in the first, 10, 15 overs, they didn't go anywhere. And we were just at them on the throat. Just almost felt like you were waiting for that second wicket to fall.
Jofra Archer, just to start off, the tone that he set straight away, it was aggressive, it was pace, it was, skills, getting that wicket early. Jofra Archer got 2 for 11 off 9 overs. And Gus Atkinson on the other end was just in them areas, just perfect. In a way, the best compliment I can give him, he was Hazelwood-like. He was very, very Hazelwood-like. And he just, he didn't get the wickets today, but that's how the tone was set. Brydon Cast came in. It took, he was a little bit more initially. He tried going a little bit fuller, but then when he got his length, he was phenomenal. But the way England went out there and that period to Smith and Labuschagne, that wasn't some players that were just not looking to throw punches back. That were two batters who were looking for anything, and they were getting nothing, and they were getting peppered.
And Cast, Archer, Atkinson, they all bowled brilliantly. Mark Wood bowled okay as well. And it is Ben Stokes who comes away with the fifer. I mean, this guy, he's absolutely phenomenal, isn't he? And I was watching it and thinking, I don't think he's bowled better than anyone else. In fact, a couple of wickets were just given to him, really. Travis Head just clips one to Brydon Cast. Mitchell Starc does the same thing. What else did we have? We had Carey backing away and uppercutting one to deep third. But he just seems to have this knack. He's got this golden arm. I mean, it can't just be luck, right? It's not just luck, but there is a big part of that. Why does Ben Stokes seem to always be the guy who comes in with the wickets at crucial points, more than other bowlers who just seem to go past the outside edge time and again?
Yeah, look, I think there's two things. He's in the wickets right now. So he had similar, very, very interesting wickets in the warm-up game with the Lions. But he creates angles. One of Ben's biggest skills is because of his release point being behind the perpendicular. He creates angles that are very, very difficult. And naturally they create wicket-taking sort of angles. But actually, once you've had what Jofra, Atkinson, Ward, Cast, people try to take, people just a little bit of foot off the gas. Ben Stokes, pre-injury and stuff, and even probably now, he'll probably do it tomorrow in this series. He can get right up to 90 miles an hour as well, and he's a very, very, very skillful bowler. So look, I think he's just a very good bowler, but he has that knack, and some people do that, just find a way to be involved in the game when it really matters. We've seen that throughout his career. After the morning they had, listen, England were under the pump. No two ways about it. England were under serious pressure going onto the field. And they're the moments that Ben Stokes' career has always come out with, big performances.
Yeah, you're right. He definitely looked like he bowled within himself as well, didn't he? He just sort of trotted in, had really good run up, really good rhythm. I think he can bowl quicker, but, he doesn't need to when he's putting it on a sixpence like that. We've got to touch on the batting, haven't we? We didn't bat that well, let's be honest. But I must say, if you're England and you look at what happened in that innings, Mitchell Starc was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But there was a big drop-off from him to the others. Scott Boland looked pretty ineffective. They went after him. Doggett bowled pretty well on his Test debut. There's nothing in it for Lyon whatsoever. Do you think England should look at that and think, well, you know what? We gave him a few wickets there. We can do a lot better than that on this pitch. And you just see off Starc, and there's runs to be had at the other end.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought Australia bowled poorly as a unit. I thought Starc bowled well I don't think Starc bowled phenomenal. I thought he bowled well. And I just think we gave wickets and we didn't. Again, this is my concern with this England team. Just a little bit of patience, a little bit of just getting through it. 33 overs, right? I don't think that's good enough. And obviously we finished the day well. We're in a good position, but we're not going to win the series if we're going to bat like this. We're just not going to. This is the moment. Boland, Scott Boland actually looks pretty distinctly average. He bowled half volleys. He was bowling poorly. He was, and also he really seems like he is psychologically rattled from the way England go at him. Like, he doesn't seem to have the ability to, if someone's running at him or someone's going at him, to just, change tact a little bit. So I thought Doggett was all right, for what it's worth. I thought Doggett was all right, but nothing more than all right. So I'm completely with you. I think, listen, day one's out of the way, right? So the nerves and stuff, everything, they've got that day under their belt. And at the end of the day, they're well and truly in the test match. Let's be right. It's either going to finish tomorrow or early on day 3. I don't see anything other than that. Both teams look pretty distinctly average with the bat. Technically, both teams look like a little bit found wanting. And one team is going out playing shots. The other team is trying to dig in. And I think you need to find a balance. Tomorrow is going to be huge of someone. And I would just love this England team. Someone to go, you know what, we need to get past 30 overs. Once we get past 30 overs, the Cooker ball will got a little bit softer. There's runs to be had. England can and have the chance, once they get that last wicket, to bat Australia out of the game, because it is cracking. Everyone, everyone's talking about how it cracks even more at this stadium. So yeah, I think there's a lot more runs to be had, but England's got to show better. For me, they've still got to show better application with the bat.
Yeah, well, India, when they won at Optus, batted much better, didn't they, in the second innings? I think, did Jaiswal get 100 perhaps? They, England are going to have to do something similar here. It could flatten out a little bit, that we have seen that at the Optus Stadium, where it's got a little bit easier for batting. So this is a golden opportunity that England have got to take tomorrow, because as we've said before on this podcast, they have to win this game. If they don't win this match, they could be in real trouble in this series with Hazelwood and Cummins coming back. And I just want to finish with the toss, because I mentioned it before to you. I said, surely England have got to bat first, right? And you rightly said they got to look at the pitch and assess it, and I think they did. But even though England got bowled out for not many, I 100% think that was the right decision, because looks like we're going to have a little bit of a lead in the end. We've bowled really well. But more importantly than that, Nathan Lyon only bowled a couple of overs. It was doing absolutely nothing. He could not be a factor in this game, because he might not get much tomorrow either. And the only way that's happened is because we've batted first. And that is a big advantage for Australia, having Nathan Lyon in there. And I think for once, all of this, we're going to bowl first, regardless, nonsense. They threw that out of the window quite rightly. And I think that is a big reason why England are in this position right now.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, and it sounds like it's a dry pitch. A lot of people at the ground are saying it's actually a day further on than the India one last year, and it's going to crack. So from that point of view, batting first seems the right thing to do. The only little caveat to it is, you play 5 seamers. Would England have been better? There's clearly a little bit in this pitch. Would England have been better bowling first? Just from a 5-seamer point of view, because if you play 5 seamers, then you've got the opportunity. Australia, a debutant opening batter, a number 3 that's just making a comeback, a captain at number 4 that's there's a bit going on. I don't know. I think there was definitely a question for whether to bowl first here, but if the cracks are what everyone's making it at, what everyone's talking about at the ground, then I think it's definitely the right decision. Whatever you do first, you've got to do it well. And the reality is, if England would have got through 30 overs with this Australian bowling lineup, England would have got 350, 400 runs, and that would have been a match-winning first innings, really. And I think the fact that both teams have batted on already, in a way, it doesn't really matter, because I don't see this going past the first session on the third day. I really don't.
I tell you what, I love working on a quick game. I'm gutted I'm not working on this. If you're out in Perth right now, you're already thinking what you're doing on day 3, day 4, your days off. What a great place to be.
Another advantage of this, you can have the whole five seam attack. They can play again because they'll get a break.
Yeah. Yeah,
England.
no, exactly. England are in a good position here. They've got to make use of this. They really have. Right. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. If you are watching us on YouTube on the Cricket Smash channel, or if you're listening to us or watching us, of course, on It's Not Just Cricket. If you haven't subscribed to It's Not Just Cricket podcast, please do. It's at INJC Pod on socials as well. We're going to be doing these quick reactions at the end of a day's play after the Ashes as often as we can. We're going to do the first 3 days, if it goes 3 days, the first 3 days of this first Ashes Test match, and then we'll take it from there. Thanks very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Sleep well.